each one of these from the last DDC meeting so that we can take it to the full DDC for approval to go to the board. Is that everybody else's understanding?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And just to bring clarity and go through each one more time. I know we went through it and spent some time, so hopefully this won't be too painful for everybody. So, I threw into a Google Docs. Is it okay if I share the screen?
Yes.
I'm working off the correct document, right?
I think so.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so.
Can you make it a little bigger, Keith? Mm-hmm. Perfect.
I'm trying to remember, last time when we were meeting, did we make any tweaks to it when we were in the full DDC? Or is this that one?
I worked on that while we were in the meeting, I believe.
So this is, okay, so the one you just sent is the right one.
Right.
Okay. Oh, did you do roll call already?
No. Could someone else do that right now? Because I can't see my screen right now. I'm trying to get back on.
Susan, did you already get roll call? You got who's here? Susan?
We're having one of those days.
Janina? Susan? Can you all hear me?
Yeah, they seem to be frozen.
Yeah, they just texted me. They're having a tech issue.
Mm-hmm.
All right, while they're doing that, rebooting the school district, the published county. Launch and maintain a media campaign with a target audience that includes students, school district staff, and the community. The media campaign shall include the success stories of successful Black male students, what successful Black male students want their teachers, others to know, and what inclusive classrooms and school might look like. Okay, I think this one you had cleaned up when we were talking, right? Because it seems a little bit more clear.
Yeah, I think so. I had the document open at that time.
Because part of this, so essentially the stories are all student voice led.
Correct. That's right.
I think we need like a action here. School district to launch or will launch.
Well, the recommendations include. Okay.
Yeah. You're right. It's fine. Okay.
We can change it though if it would be clearer. Change that introduction.
No, it's fine. I just. It's just for my notes. So, second one, school district create a database of school district and community student and parent support programs that are responsive and supportive of SBMS, the school. Okay, this is one we talked about a while, and about trying to define which organizations, because there's a debate of take stock versus like the lunch baskets.
And my question, Keith, is do we have to define those now before we submit it as a recommendation? Because I think we're saying like, let's just create a container and then we'll figure out the who gets into the container later. I think that's the recommendation versus like which organizations and getting into that.
If I recall, Keith had an concern about such a database may already exist. So maybe we say create a database of school blah 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 for the purpose of ... Would that make it less of a problem?
No, I don't think it's a problem. I just want to clear a bit, like in this particular part of how much, like of who we were just. So yeah, on this one, it could be later. That's fine. Defining
Maybe
parameters.
Is the word database hanging us up as well? Oh, okay. All right.
No, for me, it's just which community-based student parent support program.
Mm-hmm. And do you think that's going to be?
Dr. Robinson had a different opinion than what I had an opinion of. Well, just how I interpret it. But I want to make sure I got the intent, but we can figure that out later. Additionally, the school district will engage business and community partners in expanding, replicating, and bolstering successful Black students and programs to support them. These organization clubs and partnerships shall provide opportunities for SPMS to advocate for themselves and elevate their leadership skills. So when you say engage, and I guess we can figure out later, I guess to me that's a very generic. Like up here we have a database, so it's very specific. And I guess just on this recommendation, we create the database. So what? The database to be shared with who? Who to use it? So our purpose is we created the database and we built a lot of stuff that go on a shelf, but the intent is it for principals to potentially partner with? Is it for who's that for then? Was there an intent around that, or was it around we'll first just build it and then we'll deal with that later? Of how to use it?
Well, I was thinking that it would be for all stakeholders, right? I mean, I didn't have it narrowly defined, but just to circle back a bit, I think for most of these points, what we kind of agreed to was that we would dig into, once we had the blessing, so to speak, of the whole DDEC, that then details of how to do it and do it with fidelity and without losing the intent, we would have to work out in meetings with district staff.
Okay.
Hi, we're here.
The internet went down in the room.
We can't get on we were on the big screen, but smart board. So we're on the small one now.
Welcome back, ladies.
Yes.
Okay. Let me just.
So Keith, what is the, for you, what's the hurdle there?
Okay.
No, it's not a hurdle. It's just, I just want clarity around understanding it, since I'm going to be part of the staff that and Janina that are gonna like try to work to make sure this stuff happens,
Yeah.
right?
I
So I
understand.
just want clarity what the intention is, since I wasn't.
Okay.
So I'm just making. So I'm just writing myself. I just write myself some notes. So
I mean, do we want to come up with kind of a collaboration where we bring all of the ones who are interested in this together to kind of have a task force and figure out how to fill any holes and, you know, like we're doing this part and they're doing that part, that kind of thing. And then that task force or whatever you want to call it would be using this to try to reach out to more. I could be totally off base. I'm just wondering.
I think that was Cassandra was saying. Well, some of these we can figure out later. Of
Okay.
who, what, where, when, why. I
Okay.
just want to make sure I got. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think these are all very good. I just want to make sure I have the intention. Of what you all.
You want to put in there too the question around, you had a question around what, like defining engage. So I don't want to miss that.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, next one. School district places a priority on creating environments that develop and enhance the sense of belonging and connectedness for successful Black male students by reserving time and space for activities such as leadership groups, SBMS mentoring younger SBMS and adult successful Black males, mentoring SBMS.
Is that too awkward?
I gotta read a couple times to see this place a priority. So this is, I get what you're saying. I guess it's not, I guess it's just hard to measure, right? I guess it could be artifacts of how we're making it a priority.
And it could be it could be also identifying the opportunities that exist. Like, have they actually been created?
So instead of creating environments or in addition?
Who was that for? Sorry.
Who just asked that?
Kimberly just asked, because I'm working on
I'm just putting my note. I'm
creating environments and
by reserving time and
opportunities.
space. So this is what you're saying. Have they been created? So like black student unions would be a time and space, right?
Right, that would be one example.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so then I don't need this because time and space is priority. Okay. I'm good.
I want to just, can you go back stay there for 1 second? Okay. This is really focused on, I feel like I'm losing the opportunity here to talk about classrooms. Like that seems activity oriented, which is, I think is fine. But when we think about environments, I want to make sure that we're including classrooms. And let me know if that complicates it a little bit more.
So like,
It's important.
In my mind, that's a separate bullet. I mean, you can stick it in there, but I think the way to get there, the action is completely different, right? So it's included in classroom, then that means that's professional development, that's working with the teachers and coaching them and da-da-da-da-da. The other one can almost be done as almost on the side, you know, like the lunchbox conversations or whatever, right? But
Yep.
So in my head, that's a separate bullet.
I agree. I mean, it's definitely a big bite of the apple to take.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I agree.
And I mean, I'm good with having a separate bullet, is my point.
Yes, I'm with you.
All right, so you want to do that after I get through the rest? Think through that? But that might recommendation might first go through the original list.
Yeah, because the last point, it might go right after that anyway.
School administrators engage in and foster open dialogue between successful Black male students and school administration to build positive relationships. School administrators engage. Okay, so that's really kind of open-ended. I'm not really sure, like, what does that look like? Can y'all talk more about that one?
Okay,
I mean,
well,
I get it
I'm
like
take
at a high
stab.
level. I get it at a high level. I don't get it at a like actionable level.
Okay, so that might be the administrative team having lunch with whoever the group what's the word I'm looking for? Designated or identified as successful Black male students. Like, you know, at whatever interval. That's what pops in my head. I'm sure there's some better ideas, but.
And for me, when I think about this, I think about there is an ongoing, for lack of a better word right now, advisory of successful Black male students that school administrators use to really support them in understanding if there's an environment that's being created, understanding if there's a disconnect with connectedness. They're using, like really creating a space and time for that advisory, if you will, of those Black male students.
Okay, so I like that's very measurable, concrete. I like that. Schools, are you open to school administrators create an advisory of SBMS to foster open dialogue between school administration to build positive relationships?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's almost like a progress monitoring, if you will.
Yeah, almost like the feedback loop. Did I hear you? What we did, is it working?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just duplicated for here. I'm trying to school administrators to create an advisory to foster an open dialogue between successful Black. Is it so the advisory, I think the SBMS should come here. All right, so this is how I rewrote it. This is The original is right above it.
Mm,
Am I losing anything from your original intent? To make it concrete and actionable. I saw one thumbs up.
to foster open dialogue to build positive relationships. Okay,
Two thumbs up.
that's fine.
I'm going to strike this one. I got three
Okay, so
thumbs
I'm
up.
gonna be the naysayer. Can I be the naysayer? Since you're making me look at this, like I was like good with the first rendition, but since you're making me really think about it, so it's like create and maintain, because create is like could be enough, so to speak, but and I don't know that maintain is not the best word. I don't have my thesaurus on me at the moment, but but the other thing is to build positive relationships. I'm not quite sure. Well, in my mind, that does not convey this feedback loop concept, right? Because some people
Doesn't convey what?
What I'm calling the feedback loop, right? So the way I'm thinking of this, at least at this moment, is that part of the point of this relationship building would be for them to have dialogue about what are the issues, what are the concerns, what are the potential solutions, and then like the next time it's like, did we hear you correctly? This is what we're doing. Is that working? And I think it likely would go both ways, right? So, because the administration might say, hey, I need your help with X, Y, and Z, but it's more than just a relationship, because you know how these people say, oh, I love my children and all that other mess, right? Right. As opposed to this is about.
Well, that's how I first read the first one.
Okay. So, yeah, and you're right. So, again, when we wrote it and just first read it in this meeting, I was good. But like I'm saying, now that you're making me dig into the thought more, I have more thoughts. That's what happens when you make me think. See?
So to your point, I said to create an ongoing advisory. Okay. And then just for notes, I put, so when we figure out some of the details, issue solutions, ongoing two-way street. So
And I agree with you, Dr. Robinson. I think our next, like, when we get this through, I think coming back to really dig into how to make these more active and actionable, we'll definitely need to do that, because I'm hearing what you're saying there.
Okay. All right. School district provides CEU earning multi-level PD that starts with an asset-based perspective on SBMS. This PD would be guided by strategies by the strategies used by the most successful teachers of SBMS.
So here, Keith, I think what we were trying to say, or what we're trying to realize is, how do we incorporate what's working? Like, there are some teachers that are getting it right, have some strategies that are working, have some ways that they are engaging with these students. And so how do we incorporate that into like a kind of a cross professional development, so that it starts from an asset-based perspective, but how do we do that in a way that doesn't feel like it's has to be mandatory or something that's being kind of pushed down people's throats, but instead it becomes embedded in how we think versus an activity or a workshop that we have to complete.
So yeah, I like it. Yeah, I think to me, I think it's pretty clear. Now, in caution is CEU earning or points, right? That I think that's a good intention for like motivation for people to participate. I just don't know the approval process if something. None of that. I don't know if Jeannie, if you know, this doesn't have to go like to the DOE for approval for points.
So
It's
I'm
just
not,
an internal points.
Oh, that would be a nightmare.
so I'm not right. I'm not sure what the process is for it, but it would be great if the points were counted toward their certification, because that is a great incentive.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm
No,
not
I get that. I just don't want it to also be a bureaucracy if it has to.
right. It'll be a bureaucracy mess. So
Which I don't think it does, but I don't know.
Yeah.
The rules are always changing. But yeah, that's straightforward.
Can I ask a quick question here? Are there, and we may not know the answer now, but I'm thinking, you know, when teachers go back to school, there's kind of some standard trainings that happen. I'm guessing, right? There's some workshops that all teachers go through. And so I would be thinking about what those are, and then how we can incorporate what it is we're trying to get to here in terms of how do we begin to kind of sprinkle in opportunities to shift mindsets about Black male students.
Yeah, no, I love it. No, I think it's
Yeah.
very good. I like this one a lot. I like them all. Yeah, this one's, and I like the word sprinkle. So it's not like, okay, you're going for 6 hours, but you know, chunks along the way, like phasing it, take a few strategies, build that in, come back, give you some more.
create modules.
Yeah, modules. Okay. Good to move on for me, unless anybody else has anything else. Presentation on SBMS should be made to all principals. Is that connected to anything else?
Would that not be connected to the previous one?
I think it's separate because this one is focused on leadership. I think the other one is teacher oriented.
Can we put a little more here about the presentation should like include or will include? So, or is that more later? Am I jumping ahead too fast?
And are we going to include best practices by other principals who are implementing this well in their schools?
Yeah, I think we should. I mean, I don't know. We don't have to dig into the details, but
Well, just
yes.
research based.
Yeah.
And best practices for.
Do we have to say research based?
Huh?
Do we have to say research based? You know, those are cold words.
Well, I mean, Dr. Thaddeus has a lot of research now with her
Yeah.
doctorate.
And okay, so let's do a survey of people in the education system and ask them if they would include Dr. Thaddeus's research when they say research based. I'm just saying. Okay, do whatever you want to do. I just know what that means in real life.
Okay, so let me be more inclusive. Research-based best practices.
Just say best practices. Can we remove research-based?
I want to put in voices of.
Okay. Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Or I could just do best practices, which would include voice.
Well, that's just me. So
All right,
it's
you
other
talk me
people on
into
this
it.
committee.
I'm good. I'm doing.
But it's other people on the committee. I'm just saying. One of my numerous traumas.
That's fine.
You're thinking peer reviewed, right?
I was going to say, what do you mean, Dr. Robinson? What comes up for you?
What works for white children, white middle class children. That the research
When you
is
say
done.
research based, yeah, gotcha.
Uh-huh. Just like in medicine is done, you know, on white males.
Yeah. And in this case, if we said research based, there's not a lot of research on successful Black male students.
Right. There we go.
So if you say research based, that they can only pull from what's there. I have some, and then there's a few others. But you'd have to be explicit. Research based, focused on
I'm
successful
fine with yeah.
Because they're gonna look at Eric and all that stuff. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just need
I
a
mean,
little something more there. So
yeah.
that's good.
Okay.
I'm good with past practices. I just need something else there.
Yeah.
It was just too like open. So we're gonna do a presentation, and someone could interpret that pretty loosely.
Yeah.
I just know how the system works.
But I still feel like it's pretty open. Like, what do we want them to do after the presentation? Like, go up a little bit, go back down a little bit. I don't know if it's up or right there.
Like some of these might be ordered like to me, I guess this would come first before this, right? Because
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what the action is post presentation.
Mm-hmm.
I have some thoughts, but
no, yeah, you're right. Right. So,
well, we can just make a note to come back to that. But
I mean, we could do a pilot program where some of them actually implement what they learned and then come back and share results and kind of have a cohort and then expand.
say that again.
I mean, what I've seen in this kind of situation, you get a pilot program where certain schools actually have, after hearing the presentation, they go and try to implement some of these best practices and then come together as a cohort. This worked for me. I had trouble with this and that type of thing. And then once they've kind of worked that out, then expand it to other schools until you hit everyone. That would be actually, I don't know that you could get the whole district to immediately, although you all know better than I, to have follow-up. But if you have a small group that's doing follow-up and then take the lessons from that and expand it out, that may be doable. Feel free to shoot me down. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is like one of those we will come back to again after.
Okay.
Shout out to, but at least I'm getting better clarity. School districts should create and maintain a multi-level approach to increasing the connectedness and sense of belonging for successful Black male students. This should include, but not limited to, bumper stickers, honor societies, and video featuring SBMS. School district maintain a multi-level approach to increasing the connectedness.
And here, Keith, what we're trying to create is some type of saturation within the district where students actually see themselves successful and see positive kind of affirmations, if you will, of themselves within the district. So that's what we're trying to get at. And those are just some things that came up quickly for us.
So I see myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
People don't really put bumper stickers on the car anymore, but social media presence might be a great thing. Like create
Yeah.
some type of social media presence. Like I like the I see myself. You could actually create a Instagram with I see myself.
Mm.
You could actually go see right now and create that Instagram page. I see myself.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
See if it's
Don't use
available.
TikTok.
What'd you say?
Don't use TikTok.
Don't use the tickety talk.
TikTok.
Use TikTok.
And
Yeah,
and create the social media presence for that. I'm not sure if you have the Lunchbox Talks on social media. You have Instagram for Lunchbox Talks already, but like, social media presence is always something you can do.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I love the videos that are coming out now. There's different videos coming out from school district, different teachers, and just kind of celebrating. I mean, something like that.
All right, so added social media.
Yeah.
We leaving bumper stickers for us. Us that use
Nobody's putting a bumper sticker on their Tesla.
But that doesn't mean we remove it. Because
They can
people
put it on
still
their-
putting their National Honor Society stickers on their cars.
I see racist stuff.
Okay, it's not gonna hurt you to leave it there.
I'm leaving
I'm
it.
not
I'm
saying
leaving
we
it.
spend much energy on it,
I'm not-
but I just want to throw in
I
something
like
else.
bumper stickers.
So, but for me, even though now I know what it says and I understand the intent, but for me, it was also about this. Probably why I'm just trying to defend bumper stickers is the audience is also the general public, right? So let's pretend for the moment the bumper stickers are a real thing, and you're riding down the street and you see a bumper sticker that says, my son is a member of the Black Honor Society or whatever it is. I'm saying, so yeah, PSAs are good, but I'm just, I'm trying to change the narrative. See if there's a way to use this to change the narrative in the public.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Maybe add PSAs because that's going to reach the public and won't cost anything except for creating them. But you could get some of the kids involved in that.
All right, PSAs. I took note. I think community and maintain a multi-level security, connectedness and sense of belonging. I feel like community, to your point, then should be in here somewhere, but.
So I'm just talking with my
I
mic
would
off.
say after the first sentence, say, the initiative will also inform the public about SBMS achievement.
How about multi-level approach to increasing the awareness? I don't know. I'm making up, this ain't gonna work, but I'm gonna just throw it out. Awareness of SBMS, as well as increasing the connectedness and sense of belonging for SBMS. Something we could simplify. It has to be a way to say that with fewer words.
I would put the increasing connectedness as the first thing, and then making the public aware second.
I just don't like public aware. It's like, hello, we do this all the time. I just don't.
That's why informing the public about SBMS achievements.
I just think it sounds negative. Like, sounds like degrading. I don't know. To me.
Okay.
Promote.
I like promote.
We're Miss ELA. Miss ELA. Janina, you like ELA. Help us.
Where are we?
Really?
I was talking to Susan. We were talking about spring break. She was asking me, was I going to be off? To increase in MOT.
So multi-level approach to increasing and promoting connectedness, sense of office schools community-wide. How's that? The school district will create and maintain a multi-level approach to increasing and promoting the connectedness and sense of belonging for SPMS community-wide. Yay, nay?
I think that works.
Okay. Does it? Okay.
I think so.
Is Marcus here?
How about?
Yes.
I'm here. I'm listening in. Good morning.
Good morning. Just saw you pop up and then disappear.
How about maintain a multi-level community-wide approach? Does that do it? I don't know.
So moving community-wide right above, right before approach.
Mm-hmm.
Then does that mean the community owns it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the sentence says the school district creates and maintains.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Is this a collaboration with the community?
I don't know. No, I see what you're saying.
The audience includes the community.
I get it. Yeah, that works.
Right.
What did you say, Kimberly?
I think the community is partially the audience.
It doesn't. Yeah,
Right.
I scratched what I said.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but yeah, that works. I like that. And we're good with adding and promoting.
And we put a dash between community and wide.
All right, we're good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Create a space to re-educate. Re-educate. I love that. Re-educate administrators on how behavioral health professionals can and should play a critical role in the development of and support to SPMS. Should include skills for handling stressors such as microaggressions and macroaggressions on school campuses and elsewhere. Oh, God, that one cracks me up. Dr. Robinson, I know what you're saying, but can we say it another way?
Be more
Wait,
diplomatic.
why are you going to attribute that to me? This is a whole committee.
Because I know you.
No, because I would have said deprogram. So.
That's what was in my head making me laugh.
Well, fix it. I mean, as long as the work gets done.
And the macroaggressions could be interpreted against the law in this great free state of Florida. So,
So why can't you just not
You
create
had
a
a lawyer
space
say
just
that?
provide professional development? Because I don't think there was really ever any really professional development on how to use BHPs on campus.
Mm,
They were just
that's good.
what'd you say, Tina?
I don't think there was ever really any real professional development on how to utilize your BHPs on campus. There was just kind of like, you can hire your BHPs. So maybe provide.
No, that's not true.
Okay. Any mandatory, okay. I'm just going to let you know that when I was at my school, my principal did not go through any training or professional development before he hired his BHP. Now, he might have been an anomaly, but
The administrator. Okay, but we vet them. We do a kind of.
I'm not talking about the BHP. She's saying
Yeah,
provide
I get
training
it. Okay,
for
I got you. I got
How to
you.
use them
how
properly.
to utilize them properly, Keith. So I'm saying maybe we need to provide training for, because you're saying administration, right, Dr. Robinson? Dr. Robinson?
The committee said this.
No, okay, the committee said, whoever said it. Are you guys saying that leadership is not using the BHPs properly on campus?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
So maybe we can say provide training, not for the BHPs, Mr. Oswald, but for leadership teams, teachers, whoever, staff.
Okay, but let's first figure out the BHP part and then deal with the other people first.
No. They didn't say provide training for BHPs. They said provide
Yeah,
training.
re-educate.
No.
The program.
That's not what it said.
That's not what we meant.
They said, I'm going to tell you exactly what it said. I'm
Oh,
going to read it to you.
okay. So
Creative
it's right above here.
read
I
it.
have it.
Administrator.
Oswald, right.
I see it.
Okay.
It's right
I'm going to
above.
go mute again and start talking about spring break.
The be culturally relevant doesn't seem to fit there.
I'm trying to.
I think be
Yeah.
culturally relevant and include skills.
This should include cultural relevant skills for handling stressors. Is that what you're saying? Put it first. This should include culturally relevant skills for handling stressors on school campuses and elsewhere.
I think the stressors are the culturally relevant skills for handling. It's the stressors that they face that like I didn't face in school. So the skills, I don't know. You all tell me. It just sounds weird to me.
What's another word for micromanagement?
So,
Go ahead, Marcus.
I was stuck on stressors. Instead of stressors, maybe use the word challenges.
Yeah.
Say again.
Instead of stressors, use the word challenges. Challenges faced, not stressors.
Faced by SBMS.
Yes.
I like that.
Am I leaving culturally relevant skills? This should include culturally relevant skills.
What do we mean by culturally relevant?
I think we didn't have that.
Race-based understanding of what students go through or culture, race-based.
So,
But I can't say race-based.
right, so it's actually around lived experiences, but I think where I get, so that's ideal, right? Lived experiences. But if the BHP is not Black or African American, they may not have that lived experience. So my question then becomes, how do we equip them with the skills, the knowledge, and the sensitivity to support Black male students on campuses? So to the point that was happening between you, Keith, and Janina, there still may need to be a space where there's some training for BHPs as well, in the case that they don't come with.
100%.
Should we make that another bullet point or no?
All right, so I'm going to get rid of culturally relevant because I don't want to be, because we're getting hung up on intent.
Wait a minute, why?
House bill.
Why did you remove culturally relevant again?
I use that word because of House bill.
No,
Is it
culturally
law?
relevant is okay. It's micro and macro aggression.
Oh, okay. So we're getting rid of micro and macro aggression, right?
So I can live with it in or without culturally relevant. I'm the one who put it in. So, it's up to you all.
You
I
put
go
it
either
in
way.
to replace microaggressions and macroaggressions.
But then Marcus said, I like what he said, challenges faced by SBMS,
Okay.
which to me sounds more lived experiences that Cassandra was saying to me. At least in my head. I don't know about y'all's, but mine. So,
Is the question still around, should we include culturally relevant skills? I think Dr. Robinson was asking why we got rid of it.
I don't want it to get hung up on that term too for people. If Janina just heard it as like HB7, I don't want people to get like turned away either.
Okay.
That they're doing something illegal.
Well, some people gonna think it's illegal for us to talk about successful Black male students. Okay.
True.
Probably,
Okay. So I'm like, all right. So, all right. I gotta filter myself here. So, okay. I vote to keep it in. And so to Marcus' question, when you say culturally relevant, to me the word, the single word that if you ask me one word, it would be respectful, right? Because you know, like I've been like Black since I was conceived, but I've never been poor, so I don't have that lived experience. But I think that I have come to respect the challenges and the systems that create those challenges, right? So, so I don't know. To me, culturally affirming, that feels better to you than culturally relevant. I'm good with that. I like affirming. You know, that's my word, right? I like affirming.
That's fine. I mean, anything that speaks to the Black student experience, the Black male student experience.
Right.
I think affirming does that better than relevant. Relevant sounds so blasé. Like, oh, let's make sure it's relevant.
And it's jargony now too, so.
I'm fine with affirming.
All right, so we're good.
So wait, can I throw one more thing in? So this is what happens when you make me think, okay? So I don't think I want to remove, but I could actually, I think, live without the word culturally. Because, see, my thing is affirming who they are, right? And so, you know, there's not a single, quote, Black culture, right? Especially if you start talking about that diaspora, but there's a lot of overlap. There's a lot of things we claim we will call Black culture, but that doesn't mean each Black child has grown up in that culture, right? I want to affirm them, whoever they are, however they are, with their whole Black self, however that presents. So, okay, I'm done. You can leave the word culturally in there. I'm just saying, my thing, what made me happy was affirming. So thank you for that.
No, well, you said there's no one Black culture, then kind of trigger that maybe it should come out now.
Well, I don't know, take a vote, but I'm just saying.
I mean,
me,
I didn't know
the word
like
affirming
Black
just
culture. When I was
really,
at Boynton Beach High School, I don't know if I knew, I don't think I knew Black culture, right? So, but I think I affirmed kids.
right.
I like to.
It's the affirmation that's important, and that's
Sure.
why my word was respectful. But you need to know who people are in order to respect them, and then the next step is affirm them, right? So to me, but I just want however they show up,
Right.
for them to show up and people recognize them as the blessings that they are, you know?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. All right.
Agreed.
All right. So I'm deleting the straight through. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We mentioned about the classroom piece. Are we going to stick with the 8 we got, which is pretty visionary? Or are we going to keep going? Because I think the more we create a laundry list, the harder to be focused.
Agreed. And I do want to include classrooms somewhere. Like, I feel like that is where they live most of the time. Their time is spent in that classroom. And so if we don't figure out, if we don't have a way of incorporating that, then it's not going to be sticky.
Agreed. That's where the rubber meets the road. We can put all these things in place if we want to, but it's practiced, it's enforced, it's built in the classroom. I agree.
It's the root of a lot of my problems.
Correct. And there's 2 if you ask them.
What's that?
I said, and there's 2, meaning the students.
Right.
Absolutely.
So, I'm just going to class. Let's go to
Classroom and school.
we got the school above, right? With the school district classroom environments, develop and enhance a sensible and connected. We got classroom environments. This stuff, I don't think necessarily plays in now.
Right.
And it may be just as simple as that for now. And what that looks like.
Yeah, I would be okay with that for now as a placeholder.
I'll make it more actual, concrete. It's for teachers, right? Because it's not necessarily admin, right?
Well, I think everything starts at the leadership level.
But we got that above, right? We can build that into some of the other trainings that you talked about, like for Black males, for administrators. But we don't have anything in the class. If it's about the classroom, then the teacher is the one that controls that climate every day. And culture long-term. Some are fantastic and some are destructive. this is where we bring in other teachers who do it really well
Mhm.
Yep.
for teachers by teachers. Oh, I like that. Oh, that's good. Elevating other classroom teachers by then putting PD.
And then maybe a second sentence, these trainings shall be conducted by classroom teachers who have demonstrated.
Keith, do we want to say will or may? The training may?
Man, you all good with that?
Mhm.
All right. Y'all are real good with those emojis. All right. Dr. Robinson, last call.
I'm sorry, I'm distracted with something else. But yeah, it's good.
Okay. Is there a priority order at all? Or do you want a priority order? Or is that too crazy? Let's into it.
Priority order for what?
The bullet
Like,
point.
is there a recommendation of what you would like to see first, second, third? Or is it kind of?
It appears that what we have flows the way it's supposed to flow. I could be wrong.
Let me go back to the top, Keith, for a second.
Why did I have this highlighted? Oh, one. Just because we're talking. Yes, I will. 1 second.
Oh,
Wait.
okay.
No, I'm just talking out loud. I just want to make sure there's not anything else. Any other intentions that I'm good. I know we're past time, so I'm good. I like it. So
Do you think does it behoove us to prioritize? Or
I think we could do that after, maybe in the subgroup work, like, a lot of this. So if this goes to the board recommendation, right, I think we could talk about, early wins, like what could we do that's an early win, that's not a heavy lift.
gotcha.
Versus, creating the training may take a little more time, or maybe not, I don't know. Or, the media campaign type 1 maybe can be simultaneous by other people. So some of it could be at the same time. And knock it off like with integrating it in a strategic plan, other people taking ownership for some things of work that's already ongoing. So I think it needs a whole project plan rather. Does that make sense? Versus trying to prioritize now. I just talked myself out of it. Because we got to make connections so it gets infused and not another thing.
What's the timeline should we be thinking about? Like, I know we have to get it through the DDAC. And so what are we looking at in terms of timeline?
So we meet, the 28th. Gets adopted there. I see this as a written as well as a comment by the chair of DDC, but that it gets emailed to the board from the chair. And I mean, are we asking for permission from the board or just more of a, Dr. Robinson, is this something that, from your experience, I mean, is this something that the board, that we're going to ask the board to take action or just kind of consensus? Right. So it's just kind of.
No, I think you take it to cabinet. I think it's presented by DDEC chair at the board meeting, and then it goes to cabinet for action. That's what I think off the top of my head.
So the recommendations are submitted to the board as district leadership for action. Yeah, and then I can take it to leadership and then we can work from there. But so right after the board meeting, which that board meeting, April's like 17th. From there, take it to cabinet the following Monday, to get the blessing, the rest of leadership to start moving forward, and then we can all work on an action plan after that. The end of April, beginning of May.
So we're looking at implementation for the new school year?
Yeah, I mean, there might be some things that can be done earlier on some of these, but yeah, if we're gonna have to create content or what content's already created, there might be some things we could offer over the summer for administrators or teachers if we haven't already, or ideally BHPs. Because we mentioned doing something for BHP specific. I know this is about admin, but like I have a lot of control there. So they have some extra days where we do training. So if we wanted to build a training in for them, that's something that could be done sooner than later with their extra duty days in June. Does that make sense? And then
Yeah.
I think
Couldn't we start working on videos too?
yeah, we just have to figure out who does that, how to do it, like just some structure around. People are going to say, well, what are you looking for, right? So, yeah, there's going to be stories of, maybe some valedictorians that are going to come up in graduations that we want to capture, and for some of that, to your point. And so I think we all kind of got to be more intentional around how we start collecting that. Or follow-up interviews of maybe some of the others. Pathfinders, yeah, there's all kinds of stuff that will go on in May that could really lift voices that we want to capture stories before these kids go out.
Yeah.
And seniors that are leaving will have a lot to say because they're out. So I think probably at the DDC meeting in April is that, that maybe try to enlist others who want to be part of taking some action and doing some work and not just recommendations. That enlist others as well around that. Take some ownership.
And I think to Kimberly's point, I feel like we should be working kind of on a multi-level. Like I know we have to get through the process and all the things in terms of sign-offs, and let's not miss the opportunity for the graduations that are coming up in May, right? Part of what we wanted to do was we want to identify those teachers who are getting it right. So those students probably can identify teachers who they feel created the space for them and was a part of their academic journey. So just thinking about how we holistically think about what it is we're trying to do and utilize what's already in place or what's already going to be happening so we don't miss the opportunities.
Yeah, so Janine is gonna have to kind of own some of that project management of all that stuff. And who's gonna be doing what. But yeah, absolutely. There's a whole lot we could be doing. But I
Right.
also want to make sure we engage the other DDC members, Cassandra Oliver, with the chamber, I know like her husband is on with me at the FAU alumni board. And, they do a lot of stuff specifically for a Black alumni. And, they're engaging a whole bunch of people that could be doing some things and stories. He's really, into this space. So I think there's opportunities to make other connections that people would really get excited about.
That's awesome.
I have a bright idea. So now I don't know if this is what Dr. Cassandra was saying, but this is what made me think is to ask the successful Black male students who the teachers were that affirmed and inspired them. But guess what? Make videos of that. Their testimonial about the teacher, like their testimonial thanking that teacher, and videotape that and then spread that, because then that also sends the message to other teachers to, don't you want your successful Black male students to speak about you this way? You know how they do their little the Economic Council's awards. Okay, so we had the successful Black male students essentially do their award for their teachers. And
I think the other
share that as PSAs and everything. I'm done. Thank you, bye.
Yeah,
No.
Dr. Janina, got that? So you can get started on that now.
And what I really love, I love that, Dr. Robinson, because the other thing that it will do, and I know we're not thinking about research necessarily, but the research that suggests, and there's some level of support for it, is students, Black students, male students need to see Black male teachers or teachers of color. Got it. And what this will do though is not let everybody else off the hook, because then it will actually show that, and my research actually showed it didn't matter, by the way. I do have that in there, that these students did not say, oh, because I had this teacher and it was a teacher of color. Most of them did not have a teacher of color. Most of them were white male teachers or white female teachers, of course. So for me, that wasn't a factor. And I think if we can, like Dr. Robinson said, if we begin to show and share that there are teachers who don't necessarily look like these students, but are getting it right with the students for whatever their strategies are, however they're connecting with them, it's working, right? And so then I think that does support other teachers to get on board and become a part of really thinking about how to make the connection, as opposed to, kind of sitting in the stands, as they say.
Yeah, no, this was on Nightly News with Lester Holt. That's, how they always have those happy-go-lucky stories at the end, where they had some things like this, where they had kids write letters about, your favorite teacher, and then the kids read it to the teacher, and they captured it on film, and then, you're crying, and you're inspired, and you're like, oh, I want to be like that. So, yeah, I love that. It'd be great. That'd be great, videos schools could use all the time to help move their staffs to a better place. I love it. Janina, you got it.
And I'm happy to go back to some of my students too, because I was always curious about what teachers they were talking about anyway.
Sure, yeah. And you're out of that cone now, right? You can do that.
Right.
All right.
So do we have to get approval from DDEC before we make a movement on anything? Because it's a subcommittee. How does that work? Right?
Yeah.
Well,
It goes
I mean,
to
yeah,
DDEC.
but I mean, you can start thinking through. I mean, clearly it's going to go.
Right, but I'm just saying we have to push forward, and then they have to approve the.
Yeah, but I mean, like this, I'll probably take the leadership ahead of time, just as so. Obviously, I don't want Mr. Berg completely. Just so I know what's coming. I mean, to me, it's all good stuff.
What's the format of this? Would this be a resolution by DDEC? Is there like, what's the level of formality, so to speak?
To me, it's a recommendation that the board support leadership to take action on these recommendations. Talking out loud.
Okay.
Yeah. If we get too formal, then we get bureaucracy, as you know.
Okay. Is there anything in between? In between recommendation and resolution? I mean, I just want it to be important, you know? I'll go with recommendation, but just think about that, like.
No, well, you got me thinking. I'm just Googling resolutions versus recommendation. Resolutions are mandates which must be worked on if passed by an adequate majority. Recommendations are a suggested line of action which societies might choose to follow. So to that point, like if there's a resolution or is there a piece? But I mean, should we put data in here as to the why, or is that an assumption by all? Like knowing that, you know, Black student achievement is, you know, probably like the lowest performing subgroup or something to say, you know, therefore, you know, a couple whereas.
You want to talk about doing whereases and stuff, yeah.
To give more teeth as to why this should be supported versus an assumption, what we all know, right? But the general public may.
I can't keep because I can't.
Behavior, to deal with biased behavior.
So go ahead, Kimberly. I'll go after you.
I was going to say, couldn't we attach Dr. Corbin Thaddeus's report paper, and then maybe I think you had at the beginning kind of what's the word for it? The main points, and so executive summary that we could possibly use if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
I was just trying, yeah, if something in there has like something just in here to create like that sense of urgency.
Well, we can use our own data, right? School district data. I mean, they're familiar with the data. So I think the data is important. I don't well, we can highlight it for them. And the consistency of that data. So I think that's important because it's theirs, right? You can't argue with that. And I think, of course, you can have the research that butts up against that if, you know, for whatever that's worth. And I think introducing them to this concept of targeted universalism is important as well, because instead of it being seen as, oh, it's just, and why are we focused on Black male students? When they understand that if we get it right with Black male students, all students will benefit. They've got to understand and begin to hear that. And so I think we should introduce that to them as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's good. I think I want it to, I'm hoping that we will present it to them as a resolution. And so I would like, I don't know that we need to have a whole nother meeting on this, but to draft it in resolution form with the whereases and yada, yada, right? I think at the end, we can introduce the targeted universalism without using the term, right?
Why can't we
And I'm
use
not-
the term?
I don't think it's wide, and I don't want to say it in this format.
Okay, I understand.
But the concept, the clincher would be in the end that, it's that thing they used to say, I used to hate this, a rising tide lifts all boats, right? And it lists the
That's
ones
right.
who are in the shallowest water first, or whatever that stuff was that they said, right? But I think in the end, if you give, I can't come up with a nice word. If you give people who are predisposed to not want to do something for a single group, if you give them the statement that if we get it right with them, all children will benefit, right? If you give them that, almost as a closing bullet, maybe this, first thought, then I think that might work. So that's my suggestion at this point, subject to change with more input. So
I'll just say that I have, when I did my presentations to the principals group, South County, I introduced that language to them. Nobody had heard of it, and they actually appreciated it. But I hear what you're saying, Dr. Robinson, but I just want to say I've already interjected that language in the world to principals at schools and superintendents.
Well, it's been interjected other places. I'm talking about in something that would become a public document.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
But then we're gonna just play devil's advocate. We're gonna delay process, so we gotta create all these more
No, we're
formal. Huh?
I'm sorry. Let me listen carefully.
No, I'm just saying. I mean, to create all the whereas and that, I like it, but then we're gonna need another meeting time because I got other meetings to go to.
When is the next DDEC?
The 28th, I think.
I have to jump, everyone. I'm sorry. I'm late for a meeting.
Bye.
Thank
Okay.
you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
2 weeks on the 28th.
2 weeks from today.
So, I'll go with whatever you guys say, but I think that whereas the resolution format does not have to delay the process if we are willing to communicate, like just share it by email and just ride with it, right? Because we don't have to wordsmith everything. And then whatever wordsmithing would need to take place can take place in the DDEC meeting.
Okay, so there's a subcommittee the morning of the 28th in 2 weeks.
We could do the
Oh,
whereas
us?
then.
Yeah.
No, we need to do the whereas ahead of time
No, that's what I'm saying, before the
and
formal meeting.
discuss it then. Yeah. But I'm saying we need to write it ahead of time. So,
Well, I think Janina, if you could draft out something, and maybe she can draft out something as staff. That way we can submit it to the rest of the group, unless somebody else wants to draft something out, and submit it to the group for a starting point the morning of the 28th. Does that work?
that's fine. So if Janina, if you,
Janina,
your-
you could
your-
work. Yeah, she could work with you one-on-one because she's staff.
right, she's not sunshine. Okay. Why are you looking crazy like that?
Who?
You.
No, I'm looking at the chat box because I didn't see that there was stuff in there.
Oh.
Okay. So,
I was kind of joking about the resolution. It just seems that most resolutions are like, let's create a week and let's honor this person or that person. And I'm like, let's create SBMS week, and then it will have an year, ongoing follow-up from then on. And I know that won't go fly with the state, but.
So, okay, and so I know we got to go. So I'm going to just ask Mr. Oswald and Nina Simone's mama. So would you guys kind of, because okay, let me come back. You muted, probably good. But so to that point, in the school district, are resolutions seen as just like little happy things, like the week to celebrate tulips or whatever, right? Like, which way would it be taken more seriously? Because that's my point. Is I just want it to be, and I don't know. To me, if it's a resolution coming from DDEC, it feels like it has more weight than a recommendation coming from DDEC. That's in alignment with the definitions that you read, Mr. Oswald, but then I don't know if resolutions
are, yeah, I mean, to Kimberly's point, resolutions are just more kind of feel good, like, yay, we're all supporting this. Aren't we wonderful people? They're kind of self-fulfilling in my head.
Mm-hmm. That's what they are in the school district, right?
Because that's what you asked.
Yeah, it is what I asked, but in the rest of the world, it's not. So,
right.
So I'll leave it alone.
Right. I'm just saying in our culture, right? It's yeah. Aren't we like we care about all kids type thing? So to me, the recommendations, unless I get some kind of weird vibe at leadership, we could just start working on it.
So leave it as a recommendation. I won't fight about this.
And we can talk more offline. We got that other meeting. We decided to change and we want to draft something for consideration. I do think it needs a couple lines around data of something to why it's a priority. That was my biggest piece, is that people understand that, and I won't say too much on this, but I told you what happened at the mid-year instructional review and no one said a damn word.
Right.
So that's my concern.
So we could put the data in there.
Something that creates a little like, hello, we got a problem here, Houston.
Wait, what's on the agenda for DDEC in 2 weeks?
The main thing will be the classic learning test. And then a couple Guatemala Center. Susan, who's the other group? Do we have another group yet?
Volunteer Association. I've got to confirm with her though, because just haven't been in contact with her.
Okay.
So the reason
and this will be on there to revisit from based on what we did last time.
Okay. So Adam Miller did he did the annual report that I asked for with the disaggregated data based on race, gender, and socioeconomic status, with the bar graphs and yada yada. So he did that for me. He actually supposed to present it to the Coalition for Black Student Achievement meeting at the end of the month. So I just had a flash thought that maybe that presentation could be part of DDEC, but you already have a full agenda. So, but we could use some of that data as the reasons why we need to focus on successful Black male students.
Well, yeah, the CLT is going to be important because, legislative session is over. Nothing's changed for concordance scores. So they're higher. We got a graduation problem, people.
I understand. Okay. I'm not trying to change the agenda. Okay.
No, I'm just saying I need some other people screaming about this and taking some action.
People have lost their voices.
Yeah. It's so true.
No, I'm serious. It's like people
clearly. I gotta get off here because you're gonna pull some bad things on me. I got witnesses. I don't need witnesses.
I know, right? So you know, a member of the coalition had a cardiac event at the last school board meeting last month. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know. It's rough. Okay, I'm done talking. This is good.
All right.
So are we
Appreciate
still
y'all.
doing, are we still creating the resolution? Because
More data. So I think that's where I think the committee can just touch base. If you can work with Dr. Robbins to put in the beginning of that document, and I'll share the one that I just did in a Google Doc with you.
So we're adding data.
Some kind of data point or and verbiage around why this is a priority.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Y'all have a great weekend, great spring break.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.